Now, joining me is the Shadow Minister for Women and Education, Tanya Plibersek. Thanks so much for your time, very early in
Good morning,
Perth.
Laura.
But I don't imagine that you've had that many sleep-ins over the last couple of weeks. First, let's talk about the economy. The best unemployment rate in 50 years. Do you give the government some credit?
Well, we always like to see unemployment figures go down, Laura, but let's look at these a little bit more carefully. Unemployment is low, we welcome that, but wages aren't moving. And we saw with the wages figures out recently that Australian workers have gone backwards by thousands of dollars a year. And I think in those employment figures as well, you have to look at the fact that, for example, about 500,000 Australians are working 3 jobs. What does that tell you about the state of the economy and the state of the labour market? That people can't find one good, secure, full-time job, that their pay is going backwards. I don't think that's I don't think it's telling the full story if you're just looking at the headline figure. Everywhere I go, I was in Cairns yesterday, I'm in Perth today, everywhere in between, people tell me they're doing it tougher. They're struggling to make ends meet. The cost of living's going up, their wages aren't keeping pace. So an economy that works for people means an economy where you can get a good, secure, full-time job. Sure. If you work hard, the business you work for is doing well, you actually get a pay rise occasionally. It means being able to keep up with the cost of living. You know, childcare's gone through the roof, petrol's up, groceries up, rent's up, mortgages are going up, but wages aren't keeping pace with that. So for us, that's not a well-functioning economy.
Well, after 3 years and a very long campaign, I don't need to remind you, voters certainly don't seem to like Scott Morrison, but they're not sure about Anthony Albanese at all. That's a problem, isn't it?
Well, the choice is between 3 more years of Scott Morrison, the guy who took off to Hawaii when Australia was burning and didn't order enough vaccines or rapid antigen tests, who's never there when you need him. 3 more years of Scott Morrison, or Anthony Albanese, who's got a plan for a better future for Australians, to take a bit of pressure off the cost of living, to actually see pay rises in those really low-paid industries like aged care, for example. I think it's clear. Scomo's got to go.
But why did Labor pick a guy that the coalition has been able to frame as weak, loose and low energy?
Well, there's no question that whoever we chose, the Liberals were going to run negative ads and negative campaigns on them. It's, that's just the way they operate. I think it's really instructive. Like, can you tell me, or can anyone say, what's Scott Morrison's positive plan for Australia? Like, what's he saying is going to get better with 3 more years of Scott Morrison? I mean, I heard him say the other day at his campaign launch, he was only just getting warmed up. We should vote for him again because he's only just getting warmed up. So what is it? More rorts, more waste, higher taxes, more debt, more deficit, lower wages, higher cost of living. Like, what's he only getting warmed up for? And this is a guy that has comprehensively let Australians down. Every opportunity he's been given to step up and show leadership, he's gone missing in action and then looked around for someone to blame when things have gone wrong. That's the problem with 3 more years of Scott Morrison. 1 minute he's saying, better the devil you know, you might not like me, but at least you know what you're getting. And the next minute he's saying, please vote for me, I can change. Believe me, I can change. It's not a very compelling case, I've got to say, for re-election. But all that
said, Labor should be streets ahead in the polls on those factors that you talk about, but you're not, and this is going to be a close election. That's a concern and not a great indictment, is it?
Well, it is a close election and every vote counts. So I really want to urge voters between now and 6 p.m. on Saturday to cast your vote for Labor. If you want a better future for Australia, if you want a little bit of pressure taken off the cost of living, if you want to see pay rises for those low-paid workers, if you want to see cheaper power, cheaper childcare, cheaper medicines, cheaper electric vehicles, if you want to see an end to the climate wars, that means a vote for Labor.
Okay, well, we've seen a rise of the independents here, and it's no mistake that these Teal independents are all strong, smart women. This is a blight on the major parties, isn't it? Even Labor. What do you think it says?
Well, I think it certainly says something about the Liberal Party that women who would traditionally feel more comfortable in the Liberal Party don't want to be Liberal Party members, and they don't want to be Liberal Party candidates, and they don't want to vote for the Liberal Party. If you look at the Labor Party, in contrast, we are almost 50% female already. The Senate and the House of Representatives are currently about 48% female. We hope to get to our 50-50 target years ahead of schedule. I think there is a place for women in a Labor Party that represents Australian women. We've got almost double the spending plan on violence against women initiatives compared with the government. We would fully fund the National Plan on Violence Against Women and their Children, 500 extra community workers, 4,000 extra public housing dwellings, $100 million for emergency accommodation. We've got real plans to reduce the gender pay gap by making sure that it's an object of the Fair Work Act, making sure that we've got expert panels making decisions about these female-dominated industries. We have real plans that would help Australian women, and part of the reason for that is because we've got more women sitting around the decision-making table. We've got strong leaders like Penny Wong and Katie Gallagher who will, continue to make an amazing contribution to the policies of a Labor government, making sure that they're doing a great job in foreign policy and finance, but also representing the views of half the population.
It sounds like voters would have loved a female candidate for PM this time around. They denied that unfairly?
Well, I think the very clear choice is between 3 more years of Scott Morrison, who's never there when you need him, and Anthony Albanese, who'll show up, step up, take responsibility, and who's got a plan to make life a little bit easier for ordinary Australian families. I think there's, for me, there's no contest on Saturday. It's very clear that Scomo's got to go, and Anthony, who's got a plan, should be given a go.
What do you think about this time and last time? Does it feel different? Do you think you've got this one pretty close to being in the bag?
Last time felt close and this time feels close. That's why all of us who want to change are working so very hard every minute till the polls close at 6 p.m. on Saturday for a Labor win, because we do really think this is an amazing country. It's a wonderful country, and it could be even better with a better government.
Tanya Plibersek, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Laura.